Hi everybody, Mike Reese here. Another martial arts chat. I didn't know if I was going to do one today or not, but I was asked by Mike Morales to kind of talk a little bit about Dog Brothers martial arts and Keysi fighting method. And I know a little bit about both of them. I would like to know, I'd like to deal with Dog Brothers a little more, but there's pros and cons for both systems, but at the same time, everything has a pro and a con. So there's really not like a, you're never gonna find a system that you're not gonna go, I don't know if I really like that. Everybody's gonna have something that you don't like. And then because my friend Simon McKay, he used my Twitter, he tweeted me and asked about breathing. Basically talk a little bit about like the benefits of breathing with martial arts. And I'm like, and I asked him, I said, like, what kind? And he kind of he's like, oh, look, we discussed it a little bit, and so I'm going to bring in a little bit of what my thoughts were. As far as Dog Brother Martial Arts and KFM, let's go off of the fact of what they both are. They're both Kali based, so they're both Filipino martial art based. And I know that the Keysi guys want to say that it's more originated from Spain, but both Mark Denny and Justo Dieguez, and even can't even remember the co-founder of the Keysi fighting method name now, Andy Norman. There we go. They're all students of Dan Inosanto. So all their influences are very Kali and Silat based. So you're gonna have these systems that are very supported by that. But of course, since they're individual, they're different people, they're different in their ways they approach things and what they do. They utilize other things. They're gonna go outside and they're gonna like the things that they like. But both systems, both the people who founded their systems, they both did very similar things, and that was they went outside and looked at different martial arts and took what they thought was really good about those systems and what really worked for them in those systems and started applying them and worked with these people, which is great because even their instructor Dan Inosanto, he's a great instructor in Kali. He's a great instructor in Silat. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's explored Kempo. He's explored Jeet Kune Do concepts, which is all from Kung Fu. And they both. I know Mark Denny. He does say, "Hey, it's Kali," but it also takes things from Muay Thai, Savat, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all these different things, and even Junfan Kung Fu. And Shufan Kung Fu is basically Jeet Kune Do. It's like the beginning stages of Jeet Kune Do, of where Bruce Lee came from. That was what he was doing. And they all took those influences. They kind of both gravitated to that, but then they took unique experiences and their unique ideologies and formed what they wanted out of it. If you look at Keysi, though, it's way more into the hand-to-hand combat, not so weaponized. And then if you look at it, some of the weapons that they do use a lot of their stick stuff is all Kali. And then but they have some improvised weaponry that they use that is something that they like, and it was because that's what they decided was what they wanted to use. But of course, a lot of those had Kali influences as well, in my opinion, because I've seen similar things like that from people like Doug Marqueta and other guys that were in Kali. So it was like, they all have their influences of what works for how they move. Now, Keysi's a lot like a street brawling system, very street, very, headbutt to your nose, covering their head because of getting closed in, he does use a Spanish dance type movement with the step motions as well as body flow and things like that. And it's very, it's pretty much a lot like Spanish dancing. A lot of how they move and dance and how they shift, shift their hips and work all these different angles. And what's interesting about it is they also are adding concepts of other martial arts in it, like compression, that step energy, that dropping energy, that kind of thing from, you know, your kung fu systems, and they're utilizing that because they can develop. Like I said, I've talked about this before, because you can have more power using those kind of internal arts, more power in a smaller distance than you would if you were just winding up. So he's got these. So they do some really great things with it, and I like it. I like both of these because they both put themselves out there to be a little more raw, a little more gritty. I wouldn't use just them. I mean, I'm not one of those people that would take one system and go, I would only use just that. Because it's not what fits for how I fight or how my experiences have worked with me. And I don't think that either one of them would, like, say, ooh, you're wrong for that. That neither one of them would think that way. Dog Brothers is very weapon orientated, and even their hands. He's very Kali mindseted, which everything, their hand motions and everything are weapon motions. They're still from the same patterns they do with the weapons. So you can still look at it from that point of view. And but here's some things about Keysi. KFM now is actually separated. Andy Norman went his way. He took some guys. They went their own way. Roland Madrid went his own way, and Justo Dieguez went his way. Now he took the Keysi name with him because that was his. So he took the Keysi name with him, but now it's Keysi Worldwide, and that's him. And a lot of his Italian instructors are the ones that are really still working with him. And then you got Roland Madrid, who's still going through Europe with something is like Last Budo or Ultimate Budo or something like that. And then you've got Andy Norman, who's out there now with Defense Lab, and it's really, really big. And he took Greg with him and a lot of other guys. And because of that separation, all those guys who were certified instructors with Keysi Fighting Method, all those people that were out there who went and spent $3,000 and $3,000 to $4,000, possibly even $5,000 to get their instructors thing over in Madrid, Spain. They went over there and got their instructor certificates, are no longer valid because of the separation and the disbanding of that particular thing. Why that makes them unaffiliated anymore, I don't know. I really don't. I know there was a group here in Texas that was a Keysi school, and now they had to revamp because of the fact that the separation. I know of others that I've talked to them via email or something, or a phone, and they had to go their own way, and it's because of that. Now they still utilize the Keysi method of like the covering and all that stuff, which that's fine. And I like the shaping and the support of the covers and stuff like that, because it does support with a good offense with a good defense. Dog Brothers, they have the dog catcher, which is it almost looks like a Quan Sao from Wing Chun, but at the same time it almost has that spear type thought pattern into it. So it works with a flinch, and it works really well. And this guy, Mark Denny's a very intelligent person, and one thing that the Dog Brothers do right is they do these no holds barred tournaments, and you don't necessarily win, like you don't win a ribbon or tournament or a trophy or anything. You go in there and you basically try to survive, and you try to defeat your opponent, but you try to survive because they're using live sticks, but they use training knives. Man, I even just saw one recently, and a guy had like a training pistol, revolver that wouldn't jam or something like that, and that's why they said that they would let it happen. But he pulled it out and went like this, and they said, "Okay, time. He got you." And the guy looked like he was in a bad way, but he reached in and pulled out his weapon and shot the guy. So it would have shot him. It tests your mentality of what to watch for. It tests you for how well would you do in a confrontation if someone is coming at you, big caveman type swings, and it really does help you face off with people that are armed, and it can get crazy and out of hand really, very quickly. So, and they use like all sorts of different weapons. I mean, I saw them using whips. They were like whipping each other. It was insane. So there is that. So Dog Brothers Martial Arts, and both, like I said, both of them are Kali based. They both have a very strong Kali and Silat base within their system. They are very open-minded though, and like I said, one is now kind of separated and out and doing all that stuff, but I'm sure you can find someone using the principles and concepts of that. Dog Brothers is still around, still kicking, and still moving strong, still doing their thing. They worldwide do their tournaments, their Dog Brother gatherings. It's not really a tournament, it's a gathering, because it's just there to beat each other up. But at the same time, that's where they're at. They're still doing their stuff, man, every year. So I think you could go either way with how you'd want to see them. They're both about combat. They're both about really getting in and really seeing what works, what's kind of gritty for the street. I don't agree with everything that every one of them does, but I don't have to. I don't have to agree with everything, and that's because of the fact that we don't have to agree with everything everyone does. You have to do what's suited for you. So there's that for about Dog Brothers and Keysi. Like I said, I've seen parts of them. I've worked with some of it, but I'm not like sat in those systems, and so I could give you like this detailed layout. But you can find stuff about it. Trust me, they're all out there. You can find stuff about it. There's information, and I would totally go for it. Totally look it up. Now about breathing, there's different reasons for breathing, and they're all very good reasons. Like in Tai Chi, they give you different specific ways to breathe as you're doing the movement. And the reason for this is to help with the health benefit, to help with digestion. I mean, it's supposed to help digestion. It's supposed to help with basically your internal organs getting the oxygen flow that they need for them to really, really work. To really get them to work better, for the function of them to be way better than what you normally have. And it's with a specific way of breathing. So with that, I mean, so there is that health property. It's also designed for being able to, as you exhale when you throw a punch. That's why you hear boxers, that's why you hear karate guys, that's why you hear MMA guys, that's why you hear anybody really breathing out, even Krav Maga guys, going I mean, I haven't heard a boxer not too long ago, and I was watching a boxing match, and the guy was, he was like, ha! I mean, he was almost doing ki yells as he's hitting. And every time he hit someone, after he would hit these guys, he'd hit his opponent. Every time he hit him, he'd hit ha, and every hit solid. I mean, as soon as it hit, the guy, you could see the guy's body just shift. And it's because it's expelling more air. It's like giving you more push. It's giving you more of that force as you're going outward. It does help. It helps that. And if you're like using a yell of some kind, a growl, a yell, something like that gets your mindset put somewhere else, you become more aggressive with it. It's no longer just about power. It's about you getting that agitation, that aggression outward. You're expelling it forward. So it helps add into that. It helps you focus that energy and push it forward. It helps with impact. When you breathe out, but you can retract in. You go, whoo! And as you suck everything in You get hit, and you exhale all your air, you can actually take a hit a little bit better. You can take the shots a little more. It just helps because it helps constrict all the tighten the muscles. It helps harden you up a bit, so that way you're taking the hits. You're taking the, and also maybe it's fueling you. It's filling your head with more air, and because then as you relax, you go whoo, and as you relax, you're breathing in again, and as you relax and breathe in, you're putting all the oxygen back into your muscles. You're letting the blood flow again, and you're getting everything back in there. So now your muscles aren't completely worn out. Like I said, energy flow. It helps you with energy as you breathe properly, and as you learn how to breathe deep and out, and you learn how to do these breathing exercises. It increases your energy level. Why does it increase your energy level? Because your oxygen level is raising up. If you learn to breathe properly, what it does is it actually fills your lung. A lot of people breathe shallow. They'll take their chest out or raise up their shoulders and their chest. That's what they think is a deep breath. That's not a deep breath. A deep breath is your belly expands. Like you'll get this big belly, and then when you exhale, your belly goes in. That's proper breathing, and the reason why is because that actually expands your lungs. The other ones are shallow breathing, and it doesn't do anything for your lungs at all. But when you actually breathe correctly, it expands your lungs, and it actually it gets everything nice and it puts more oxygen in your blood. It gets more oxygen flowing throughout your system, and gets your brain, and with more oxygen you can think more clearly. You can focus. That's another part of this, that you can focus. You have more energy. You can do more. That's why when you go in higher altitudes, it's harder for people to focus. It's harder for people to have the energy because there's thinner air. The thinner the air, the worse off it is for you to breathe, and the harder it is for you to breathe, the more you don't want to do something. The reason why people say they gas out in MMA is because they run out of air. There's no more air. They're just out of it, and as soon as they get to that point, they don't want to go anymore, and it could take one hit, or they don't even have to, like, I've seen it in a fight before. The guy didn't even have to latch all the way on. Just the fact that the guy went around his neck for a choke made him tap, and it was because he was so tired, he knew it would take very, very little for him to just go, just to squeeze the rest of the air out of him. So, and he was spent. He didn't want to go anymore. So, breathing has a lot of good. There's a lot of good things that come out of breathing correctly. Martial arts. There's certain martial arts that focus on that breathing. Tai Chi. A lot of internal arts will do it. Tai Chi, Qigong works on breathing a lot. But then you got Goju, Goju-Ryu Karate from Okinawa. They really focus on breathing. Yoga works on breathing. A lot of people, do the exhaling of air, but they don't ever really talk about the other reasons for, breathing properly. And it's either because of lack of knowledge of, or they just don't either believe in it or buy it, or they just never been taught it themselves. But know that there's a lot of reasons to learn how to breathe properly, and yes, there is a breathing properly. You can breathe regularly. Like if you lay down on the couch and you breathe properly. You can't breathe improperly when you're laying down. Some of y'all are going to try it right now. And it's fine. You're going to be, let me try. He's right. Hold on, try again. And then you're going to be on the floor and you're going to be relaxed and you're going to fall asleep. So, because it's going to relax you. Because that's another thing that breathing properly does. It can relax you. It can help. Because of that, it relaxes the muscles. Everything's getting proper oxygen, which means the blood is flowing properly, and that means your circulation's going very, very well. And when your circulation's going well, it means your body temperature stays up. Your muscles are not going to be sore or as sore because they're getting blood flow. They're going to be getting more blood flow, so they won't be so tense. So those are the benefits of breathing. I'm going to come back on Monday and let everybody. We're going to talk about a topic of what makes a what people say is a combative system. I've been seeing a lot of videos out there lately about the top 25 self-defense systems, or this is the reason why what is good for combat, and this is, and when you ask someone about combat or combative systems, they automatically will say, oh, Krav Maga, the Hagana, spear. They just start rambling off rat, you know, which is, you know, Paul Vunek's Jeet Kune Do thing. But I'm gonna come in and I'm probably going to offend some folks. Not intentionally, it's just because here's the reality. I'm going to give you guys some realities behind some of this stuff. But at the same time, I'm also going to give you guys an actual list of what to look for, not what other people have said to look for, but what you should actually look for when it comes to a combative or self-defense system, if it really truly is made for combat and actual surviving. So, again, I really like that Red Belt quote where he says, you know, he goes, you teach them to win, right? And he goes, I teach people to prevail. And that I'm going to give you guys insight on how to look for a system that's going to help you learn how to prevail and not just win. Okay, well, there's a Saturday issue. This is my first, and may not be my only one, but there's going to be very few Saturday editions of this, mainly because I spend it with my family more. I just happen to be able to get this out because we're just kind of relaxing and chilling out right now. So I'll talk to you guys Monday. Keep chatting, and I hope that everybody enjoys this video. Keep sharing, liking, and subscribing, and keep putting it out there, man. Let's talk martial arts, but let's talk truthfully. Later.